Okay, so guys, last time we looked at the hard drives, right? How we managing the disk, the physical disk here. But in reality, you don't get to see this graphics or anything like that, or even in Windows. If you have like a Windows environment, like if you have a Windows environment like this, here you get to see in graphics, right? Um, you could see this is a C drive, it says OS on it, and how much this is there and how much is available. So we don't have none of those here, okay? So what we are doing is we're just kind of shooting everything in dark. But we are using the commands to tell us what is happening here, okay? So in Linux, everything is in dark window. So that is why that is one of the reason you be get paid a bit more than compared to same skill set if you have on Windows side. Okay, so if you look here, so if you want to look at how many drives you have, you just do lsblk. All right, before that, let me connect. Okay, you cannot log in. All right, so if we do lsblk, this will give you output here. So all of a sudden, how come we have only 3 drives? We barely have anything here, right? Because I'm on a wrong server. I should be connecting here. All right. I connected without password because SSH was already set up. So if I do lsblk and you have all the drives in here. So I explained you last time a slash dev slash sda bcdz. Okay, so that is how you roll. So guys, anybody have any questions? Because this is really important. Um, LVM, if you don't know logical volume, you probably won't get a job. So now what I'm gonna do is move along here and get a little bit deeper. Maybe stop. So we have this little chart here, right? What we did was we have this requirement and we took 3 disks and we made it into one giant disk. And out of that giant disk, we are creating a logical volumes here. So we have 4 GB of accounting. And what else we got? Where is the So accounting is 4 GB, finance is 6 GB. Finance. HR 2 GB. On recruiting 4 GB. Okay, so what is happening now? So we have accounting. Accounting is taking up 4 GB. And we have all this split up here. So how much space we have? We still have some space left, right? Yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split this up and we'll have a running total here. Okay, so 14 GB is available. So what I'm gonna do is okay. Okay, before that, let's play a game here, okay? I'm gonna clear this. I'm gonna say df-h and look at it here. You have finance. Where is it sitting on? Finance. Accounting is sitting on accounting. Recruiting is sitting on recruiting. HR is sitting on HR. Okay, so what do we do is, let's do something here. CD finance. CD slash finance. Okay. And if I do ls-l, there is nothing in here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do touch, and then I'm gonna say file one, but this time I want to create about 100 files in here. If you run this like this, touch file one and open a squiggly bracket um, before you do any space. Just type file one, open a squiggly bracket, one, then a hyphen 100. We're going to learn about this, what I'm showing you when we're doing a scripting. So when you hit enter, what will happen is it will create 100 files in there. All right, permission denied. That is what's supposed to happen because we are doing that. So I'm going to do sudo su, yeah, sudo su minus, and then I'm going to give the password for ZMPT. Not taking my password. Is it asking for ZMPT password? Down on the bottom, it will show you a password form. Do Control C to cancel it. And where are you right now? Just logged in. Oh, okay. You have to connect to your own server first. SSH. Yeah. Yeah. It should be in your history. Yeah. Okay. What about people online? Are you guys with me?
Yeah.
So
Hello?
go into CD finance and then and then type
Mi-
touch
Mr.
file.
Zafar.
Yeah,
Isn't it supposed to be dot dot 100 or
you're right. We could try this 100. No, I don't think it's going to do that. Dot dot 100, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Austin. So
Yeah.
the correct command is touch file, then two squiggly brackets, and then in between them, uh, type 1 dot dot 100. Okay, if you don't get any errors, that means you have your files in there. All of a sudden, you have 100 files in there. If you do ls-l, then pipe wc. It says 101. Why is it saying 101? Because if you do ls-l, it's counting that first line also. It's counting this line also, total 0. I don't know why he's saying that. I mean, the size of the file. It's counting that thing also. So what you could do is you could, if you're in a folder here and you don't know what you're dealing with, what you could do is ls-l and then do wc. It will tell you how many files are in that folder, including directories. So what we're gonna do is we have 100 files here, right? Just type cd to go back to the root working directory. pwd will be /root. Now do df-h. So what you should do is just do umount finance. Okay, before that, go back to finance, pwd finance, right? If you do pwd, it's saying /finance. But how would you know which file system it is sitting on? You do df-h and the period. Okay, now you guys see how often we are using the period here. Period means present working directory. So we want to find out where is finance sitting on. Okay, so it says finance is sitting on the file system here. So this is a separate file system. Yep, there you go. Zero two 08 20 25. Mount and mount point. So in this example, I have mount and mount point, right? So we're going to define here what is mount and what is mount point. In this scenario, this is a mount. This is in generic terms, it's street language, if I define it. In street language, this is considered as a mount. And then this is a mount point. Okay, but in reality, if you are using a good terminology, this is a logical volume. This is volume. What volume? If you're talking to somebody with your colleague, they will ask you, what is the volume name? You give the volume name. And then they will tell you where they need to be mounted. It need to be mounted on finance. Okay, but you could also say, what is mount and mount point? Mount is, this is mount, and this is mount point. So this is the folder, it's reading this file system. Okay. Correct. You could name it anything you want. You could name it garbage, whatever, it will take that. It's just the name for the reference. So we define it as a finance. Entry point to logical volume. All right, so let's play a game here. What we're gonna do is get out of the finance, and you type umount, UMOUNT/finance, and then it hit enter. It says target is busy. Why is it target busy? Yours is done, right? Yeah. It might take a minute or two. Oh God. No, because in ZMPT, I'm still stuck in finance. Okay, now if I go back, and if I do umount, no error means it's gone. I mean, it's unmounted. Now, if you want to see finance is there or not, what we're gonna do? What we're gonna do is, if we clear the screen, do df-h, and finance is not there. In fact, the entire line is not there. You don't see finances here at all.
Because you unmount the disk.
I unmount the disk, yes, that is true. Now, if you go to cd/finance and do LL here, there is nothing in here.
All the files are also gone.
Yes. And earlier, where was it mounted when we did DFF and H? Okay, see, this is very important, guys. And I think you guys are getting this. Okay, earlier, when you were in finance, you were in DF-H. I'm sorry, DFF&H, and you had 100 files in there. And when you do DFF&H in a period, you were sitting in finance. Now, when it's unmounted, you went into finance again, and now it is sitting in, where is it sitting in now? Finance.
Root, like in the
Correct. You
structure.
see root here. You see the stark difference between This part is gonna be system information, system provided. But look at this here. Give it a sharp focus on this part here. Okay, so if you go back, you are sitting in finance, but it's sitting on root file system here.
I'm getting a different information when I'm doing DF file search.
But is finance, do you see finance in there at all or no?
No,
Okay, now go into slash finance,
yeah, I'm in finance, right?
DFF and H and a period. Don't forget the period, guys. It is very important. Full stop, period, stop, whatever you call it. Everybody with me?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
If you have data on in finance, for example, you have 2005, just like you created 100, and it got a data in it. And if you unmount that part, right? So the data will be there, or it's gonna be just like when we delete the partition is gonna be erased.
Neither. I'm going to explain that. Right now, it's a big mystery. And if you lose the finance data, you better start clearing up your desk because you're gonna get fired. Because you're losing your finance data and they're suspecting you that you may be like stealing data and stuff.
Oh,
Now it's a big crime. Everybody is gonna ask you questions where the heck the files are. And you did DFF and H. And you go like this here, you go in here root, right? So now to solve the mystery here, what you could do is, so I need to hone in this here. This is really important. Uh, so this is a root file system, and then the files are gone. No files are there, right?
Yeah.
And if you scroll up here, okay, you did DFF and H, and then you did finance, and it's mounted here. All this looks good to me. But after we unmount, what happened? You go down here and you do DFF and H, and then it's sitting on root, and here's the root file system. So in reality, if we go back up, in reality, what is the topmost file, a topmost directory? This is the topmost directory. If you remember, there is nothing above that. Right? Do you remember that? Let's go to our website here. And if you go into, where was the directory? Okay, here. If you're looking at here, this is the topmost directory. And this is referred to as root directory. So if you see here, there is nothing in here. In reality, finance is under here. But it was serving to this file system. So you go in, find out. How do you find out what is happening? Cat etc fs tab. Sometimes you do cat etc fs tab, you can't see clearly here, right? So what you could do is cat etc fs tab / grep for finance. Oh, there you go. Oh, you go like, oh, okay. The file system is not mounted. That's why it's happening.
Right.
That's why, yeah, that's why it's kind of showing you that too. File system is not mounted. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do df-h. Let's create a mkdir test, test.
The finance.
No, not in the finance. See, even though I was sitting in finance, where did I create this? As long the moment you have slash, you're putting it in the top directory. See, I was in somewhere in finance, right? But I gave the absolute path. So no matter wherever you are, if you provide the absolute path, then it will create there. So if you do ls, if you go into /cd/, and if you do ls-l, you see test there. Right here.
It's not showing for me.
Did you type mkdir/test or what? So go to cd/ first, not root, and do pwd. You have to be only in slash. Are you in a slash? Now do ls-ltrh. It will bring that up recursively human readable.
Oh, wait. Go to slash.
cd/.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so now you know no matter where you are, with no matter where you're standing, it's the absolute path and relative path is going to play how you're going to create the directories and stuff, right? Now what I'm going to do is I have some information, cat etc fs tab grep finance, and you have this here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do mount. So I'm going to do the mount, and then now I'm going to change the mount point to test and hit enter. Now do df-h. Where is this sitting on? finance, ZMPT finance is sitting on where?
Yes.
Now, when you go into test, what are you gonna expect? Yes. So all your 100 files gonna be here. See?
That's,
Now, I know what where you're getting confused here. So share your screen. We'll walk you through.
no, I understand, I just need to mount. And,
Uh-huh.
Zafar.
No, grab the information from FS tab, cat etc FS tab and grab for finance. Pipe grab finance.
Ah,
Now copy only that line up until finance, just the mount, not the mount point. And the command is mount space, then paste that information and then do space CD test. Now you have files in there.
yes,
And just do the regular ls-l. You should see 100 files in there.
Yep.
Okay, so now what is
files
happening?
are not physically deleted.
Yeah, the files are not physically deleted, but what is happening is that file system, it's written to the file system rather than root.
Accidentally unmount. It's still the files will be there.
Yeah,
I just
the
want to
files,
mount it back.
correct.
Okay.
So to hone, yeah, you see here, now we mounted here. Here, right? So what is happening here? The data is sitting on this file system here, rather than it's sitting on the mount point. What I could do is I could remove this and I could unmount this and I could put it on accounting also. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the mount point is. What it matters is where is the data sitting? The data is sitting on finance. So the data is sitting on mount. Logical volume is where the data is sitting. And then you need a window to look through that data here. So that's why I put in entry point to the logical volume. So what you could do is it's like a window. All right, people online, are you getting this? Who is not confused?
I'm not.
Okay, so Salman is confused. Salman, share your screen. We need to know what's going on.
I'm using different computers, so I don't have, it's like the putty in it.
Oh,
Putty.
but are you confused right now?
Yes, little bit.
Because I know you are confused.
Actually, usually I run the commands when you are running, right? So it's kind of the same thing happens to my computer too, right? So I always follow with you. But right now I'm using different computers, so that's the problem right now, maybe. But I'll follow it. Don't worry. It's right now the problem is you unmount the device, right? You unmount it, then you mount it again.
Yeah, I mounted again to a different mount point. So mount point doesn't matter. Mount point is just a little window, so you could mount it. So here your mount point is finance, but logical volume dev/mapper/logical volume is correct.
Yep.
See, dash slash, and this is correct, and then this is where it's mounted. So if I go into CD test, CD, I'm already in there. So if I do df-h and the period,
Mm-hmm.
now you see clearly here. You see it here also, but here you could see it's only, this is what you have.
So you
Okay.
mount on the test then.
Yeah, so I'm using this game here so that you hone in and understand what is happening here. So now the data is actually sitting in here. Earlier, when this was not mounted and we did DFF and H, it was showing it is sitting on the root file system here. I forgot to capture that. So if you go in here, cd/finance, if you do DFF and H, now since this is not mounted, it is showing you on root file system.
Yep, got it.
In the beginning, any file you create is sitting on root file system, no matter what.
Hmm.
Okay, so you have to remember that, but then it's how it's being used and channeled through. Oh, okay, I did capture this here. Okay, so this is really important to understand and stuff. So moving along,
Mrs. Zafar,
yeah.
what would be the reason like people like what would be the reason an admin would have to do this? Like mount and unmount. Mm.
So over the time, things are happening, right? So people may be going in and out of etc file system, fs tab,
Mm-hmm.
and then somehow a line got deleted or something happened and the system restarted. If the system restarted, what will happen? It will go through what is happening here and then it will mount that from here. So everybody go ahead and restart the system. System CTL reboot. Okay. So it will kick you back to your main server. Give it a few minutes and then we'll go back in there. Yeah, system CTL stands for system control. Okay, good. Let's give it like 2 minutes and then we'll try to go back in there. Austin, did you send me the job description you got?
Yeah, I sent it. It was like a Java application server admin.
Okay. Oh, Linux. Oh, Linux.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the other stuff you have. Just focus on what they're looking for is somebody with a Linux skill set, and other things, those are like job function.
Mm-hmm.
So after this class, we'll spend a half hour together and then we'll prepare you for the interview.
Okay. Appreciate it.
And it's from ADP?
AEDP. It's a company called ASMR, but they want me to work with the IRS.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So you just need a public trust for that. I think it's gonna
Yeah,
be good.
yeah, that's what she said. She said they were gonna hire me on, and then when I go through the background for the public trust, like I'll just be working. I'll work for the recruiting. I guess the recruiting company called ASMR. So
Yeah,
I work for them, and then they sponsor the clearance.
and that's the resume you sent
Hmm.
them?
Yeah, yeah, that's the I said. Yeah.
Okay,
Let me see. I might have changed it around just a little bit.
okay,
Oh no, yeah, that's the one I sent.
yeah. Okay, so let's try to get back into the system. Okay, you should be there, and if you do DFFNH, it should be already mounted here without you doing anything. But don't just restart the system here. You have to check with the application team before you really do a restart. Okay, so now let's pivot to give me one moment here. I have to restart. Okay, so the finance is back here, right? So what we're gonna do next is so increase the file system. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, on your first server, right? Okay, good. Now, what we're gonna do is increase the file system. So let me clear the. So all of a sudden, so when we look at it here, HR is give me one moment here. Okay. So what do we have here? We have HR, right? They are now whining, they need a bigger space. So what they need is additional space. So they want additional 10 GB. First, they thought they only want 2 GB. Now they were crying about they need 10 GB more. So in total, it is 12 GB. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna see how this is gonna play out here. So the very first command you would find out is you do VGS, volume group show.
Okay. Or
No, you have to be as root. So this is a on your server, first server, do VGS. Yeah, ZMPT1 is a root file system. Yeah. So we have 3 file system, 3 physical volumes, 4 logical volumes. So we have about 20 GB free. So we did a wrong math here or something. It was 15 GB, right? So 36 GB is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So yeah, 16 GB was used up and we have
20 GB.
20 GB free. So what we're gonna do now is accounting is gonna be the same. Finance is gonna be the same. And HR will be 12 GB. And recruiting is gonna be 4. And then we are removing another 10, right? So only 10 GB will be left. Yeah, whatever. Because some part of the disk is being used as a reserve for metadata. You know, think of it as a lot a plot on for your home, and not every piece of your plot is being used for your home, right? But they will still declare you have like a 1 acre plot or a half-acre plot or whatever. That is what is happening here. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is VGS, and we do LVS. So these two commands, volume group. So this is volume group show, and this is this is logical volume show. Volume group show. Let's concentrate on ZMPT1. This is 3 physical volumes, means 3 hard drives, and 4 logical volumes. Okay, so these are 4 logical volumes. We are worried about ZMPT1. So 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, which is correct. 4 and 3 physical volumes. How do you know 3 physical volumes? LSBLK. Or what you do is PVS. PVS means physical volume show. Physical volume show. That's what PVS stands for. VGS,
No,
volume group. PV means physical volume. So here, these are the physical volumes: SDC, SDD, SDE. Okay. So the request is to have another 10 GB, right? So adding 10 GB to adding 10 GB to volume group HR. So if you do clear, you do LSBLK. Yeah, we have HR as a volume group also, right? Do DFFNH and no, you're right. This is not a volume group. This is logical volume. Yeah. Add 10 GB to logical volume HR. So the very first step is VGS. Oh, we got 10 GB in there. Okay. So what we're gonna do is the new command. You're learning a new command now. It's called LV extend. Yeah. All right, let me just get back here. So what we're gonna do is LV extend. VGS. Always keep your screen clean, okay? Before you work on, so that it's easier on your eyes what you're looking at. And then hit like enter a few times so that you have enough clear space to work on. So what we're gonna do is LV extend, okay? So we are running a command LV extend, and then we are saying uppercase L minus uppercase L means extend the logical volume, okay? And then you're gonna do plus, and then what you're gonna do is you do 10G. You don't have to type GB, just G. And where do you want to add it to? So what do you do is you have to keep this handy. You have to do some research and then put this information in the notepad. That way you prepare the command and then just run it here, copy paste. So I'm extending HR. LV extend HR.
Are you at the path?
So to get to the path, LSBLK, okay? No, sorry. DF-H. You see the path here?
Okay.
LV extend hyphen uppercase L logical volume plus 10 GB, only 10 G, and then paste that information there. And then hit enter. It says you should get a logical volume ZMPT/HR successfully resized.
Not say, not GB, it's GIG.
Yeah, there is a new thing going on, gigabyte. Um, so at this point, I'm not really worried about what is happening, okay? Because it's using a new file system and GB byte is a bit larger than gigabyte. Gigabyte is based on 1024. Gigabyte is based on I don't know what. I will bring it up on the internet and then we'll check that in a moment. Okay. Now, if you do LVS, you see HR is what? 12 GB. Okay, and if you clear the screen, if you do df-h, you should have HR as 12 GB. Everybody has 12 GB?
Mine is showing that.
Yeah, exactly. We are not done.
Yeah, I have 12 GB.
Uh,
I have 12 GB.
when,
Sorry, it's kind of late. Uh, the,
when you do df-h,
mm, yeah. Oh no, when I did LVS, but I'll try the F-H.
Do we
The
have to
size is
reboot the system to take effect on that?
no.
the
Good try. No, you can't be rebooting systems all the time. Linux systems are so stable. I have seen when I was working for Apple, I've seen they haven't been rebooted in like 1,000 days, 1,500 days. That's like 3 years, 4 years. It hasn't been
Oh,
rebooted. It's been running like a workhouse. So to do that, what you do is there is a new command, xfs underscore grow fs. So what is this? XFS file system. Remember, if we go to cat etcfs tab, we said XFS file system, right? When we started this last week. If you see here, do you see here? It says XFS file system. Before you do before you extend the file system, you have to do some homework. You have to find out what is the file system. So I'm going to put that some notes here. Uh, before increasing file system, get information about file system, usually from etc fs tab, and then get information if space is available. VGS. Verify the size of file system. File system, LVS. Okay, so these are the things you need to have before you take any action. And then grab full absolute fact for logical volume. And usually you do df-h. Okay, so let me save that here, and so the command is xfs underscore grow fs. Okay, so this is, let me just clear this here. XFS underscore grow FS. It's all one word. Okay, and now what you need to do is you need to provide the file system information here. So before that, have DFF and H ready. Now you do XFS hyphen grow FS, and then you do this part here. Dev slash mapper slash ZMPT slash HR. It goes through that and it gives you this information. That means if you're getting an output like that, that means it is working. And how are you going to verify that? You do df-h and you see 12 GB now.
Yes.
All right. Now do VGS and you have 9 GB left. Now, all of a sudden, other guys are crying. All the, yeah,
So you can extend the logical volume before
yeah,
before you grow the file system.
correct. Yeah,
And then once it kicks in, it'll automatically update itself.
yeah.
Okay.
So now what accounting want is they said, oh, we actually asked for 40 GB and you gave us 4 GB. Then we said like, no, we gave you 4 GB. Then we said like, okay, we can't give you 40 GB. We could, what we could do is we could, we don't, oh, by the way, if
We
somebody
forgot
asks,
finance.
yeah, somebody asks for something, you just can't give them, okay? Because a smaller thing, that is fine. A bigger thing, like if they are asking for an extra terabyte and stuff, it will cost money. You know why? Because it will, like if it's in a cloud,
You might increase the physical hard drive.
that is exactly, you're hitting the point. If you need to increase the physical drive, it's expense, right? It's going to cost the money. So what we're going to do is they are crying about they need 40 GB. Now you said you cannot do that. So we come to a negotiation, instead of 40, they'll get 20 GB. So let me copy this line here.
Miss Zafar,
Yeah,
I'll wait after this. Extra question about mounting.
yeah. So they need to stay at 20 GB. And let's do the math here. So how much we are short? 20 plus 6 is 26, plus 4 is 30. Okay, and then
42.
this is 40.
42.
So now, how much more we need? We have 10 GB, right?
We need 6 more.
Yeah, I'm gonna say negative 10 GB. We are negative 10 GB. So, no, sorry, you said 6 more, right?
Yeah, we need 6 more. 42 plus 36. 6.
Yeah, so we need 6 GB more.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're gonna do is, okay, yeah, proceed with your question. What's your question?
I was gonna ask something about mounting, so we can wait till after this.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Okay, so you come here, you do VGS, and you actually need 16 GB. All right, so 10 minus 16 equals minus 6 GB. So we are short 6 GB. You come here and you see 10 GB is available, and then you need another 6 GB. So what you have to do is you have to add another disk to this here. So if you do PVS, you have a 3 disk for ZMPT, 1, 2, 3. Now let me clear this, do LSBLK. So normally what will happen is these extra drives are not there. So you have to go and ask the Windows guys to add some disk in the background, and they say disk is already attached and we could proceed. So what we see here is yeah, but you see SDF has 6 gigs available.
Yeah, but
Are you sure?
we need 16 more gig to make it 20.
Yeah, so we had 10 GB. So 10 GB is there and we need 16 GB. So we are short 6 GB. Do VGS and you see 10 GB left.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're gonna do is so let's go ahead and add this disk here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do PV create again. PV create dev SDF. Okay, physical volume is added. So Okay, add physical disk and you run this command. Okay, do PVS. Now, if you do PVS, what is happening here?
It's showing us the physical volumes, right?
Yeah, the physical volumes. Who is it available for? So if you look in the volume group here, it doesn't belong to any volume group. So at this moment, you could even assign it to root volume system or ZMPT. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna assign it to ZMPT1. So what we're gonna do is now we need to extend what we extended earlier, LV extend. Now we do VG extend. We are extending the volume group. VG extend. What are we extending? ZMPT1. And what are you extending with /SDF? There you go. Now we have a whopping 16 GB here. So we did PV create, and we have this sitting there and getting wasted at that moment. And then we use this command to add it here. And then this is whopping. We have 16 GB left. Okay, and then if you do LVS, so now this is part of a volume group ZMPT1. This is very, very important. You won't get a job if you don't know this. It is really, really important. You have to know this inside out. All right, so now what we're gonna do is now follow the same process here, extending the volume system here, logical volume. Yeah, but hold off. I want to show you something different here. So now what we do is you go to VGS and you see 16 GB is available, and your requirement is to add another 16 GB, right? So in this case, what you could do is you could do like add whatever 100%, whatever the disk space is available. So we are using the 100% of the disk which is available, okay? So the command is lv extend -l, and then you type plus, capital L, plus 100% free. You have to type exactly a 100% free like that. And then the information about, we are extending HR, right? It's no accounting. They have only 1%. So grab the accounting logical volume of absolute path. Okay. Okay, now hit enter. Okay, so give a lower L. Okay, in this scenario, it needs a lower L.
So for 100% free command, it needs lower.
Correct. Well, the thing is, I think I mentioned this earlier. Linux is not developed by one entity or one person. People are adding to it and contributing it, and so are the big corporations. So I think this extending this was added by not by like entity, it was by like an individual person. He didn't care about making it lowercase uppercase, and so he just have it added like that. And it was a good submission, and it was adopted. So the operating system is ever evolving, and its bits and pieces are contributed by either the corporation or the individual. So that is what is happening here. So some of these things, how it's working, may not be like formatted everywhere the same way. This would have been a classic example. LV extend should have been uppercase L. But if you're providing like gigabytes, it would have to provide uppercase L, right? So if you do VGS, now nothing is left, and 42% is used. And if you do LVS is showing 20 GB, which is good. And what about DF-H? DF-H is still showing 4 GB for accounting, right? So now we have to run that command again. Let's get it from the history. We went into history, and we have almost this much here, right? So what we have to do is -accounting and tab, hit enter. There you go. quick and easy, you are able to find your information you're looking for. Okay, so always use history, up arrow key, or whatever that works for you. Now, if you do df-h, now you have all these things here ready. Accounting is now at 20 GB. So today we saw a couple things here, extending it while enough disk is available, extending it while adding another physical disk, and then using the 100% available volume group. So let's take a break here for 20 minutes. Let's come back at 10:53, okay? And break starts now. Okay, so what do we got going today? What else? Okay, now I want to highlight something here, right? Let's focus on LSBLK and then focus on accounting root volume system. Okay. Okay, so earlier when I started LVM, I mentioned like it's easy to manage, right? Logical volumes are easy to manage here. Why? Because system is automatically doing it. So what does it mean? Okay. So let's take a look here. Let's focus on here. Okay, so you see logical volume accounting is sitting on SDD, and it is also sitting on SDE, and is also sitting on SDF. So we need to know what is happening here, okay? So the way the file system works is originally we had SDC, SDD, and SDE were part of one group, right? So when the file system is created, based on that size, what it does is it will use one of the disks and put the volume group on there. So in my opinion, probably we created HR, right? So it selected to put HR on HDE, partly because HDE size is 16 GB. So what happened? So operating system, they do it in the background, their own calculation, and decide which physical volume to put the volume group on. The reason they do it is so that if the physical volume goes down, all the data is there. But in the case of accounting, what it probably had done is it probably had used SDD primarily. Okay, then when we extended another 16 GB, it saw like, oh, there is some space left here. Let me use that up. And then there is some more space here. So let me use that up here. So it is spreading across 3 physical volumes. But it's using each place, it's showing 20 GB, but in fact, it's just spreading it out. For us to understand this, we don't have to dig anything more than what we already know. But if it's not going to get anything more complicated than what we already know, so we don't need to know what else, how exactly things are working and how to structure it. Okay, so I just want to highlight, even though it's one volume group 20 GB, when you do it, it does shows you 20 GB in like 5 different places, even though the size of the physical disk is only 6 GB. So more than likely it's using all the 6 GB here out of 20 GB. And then it's using another 10 GB here, and it's using another 4 GB originally. So it is kind of awkward situation here, but that's how it is, and it's working well, and it's widely accepted. So a lot of people, they don't go into like nitty-gritty things here, because logical volume manager is pretty stable. They haven't heard of any problems having it. And it's just imagine this is being used on Oracle database and HANA database, so it's pretty stable. Those the data on those databases are in terabytes. The smallest data is like 10 GB, 10 terabytes. So you could imagine it could go to a bigger size. Okay, so that's just informational here, okay? So now what we need to do is, all of a sudden,
Mr. Zafar, sorry.
yeah,
So let's say you're looking for some information. Does that mean that it's split or like some type of data? Does that mean that like part of the data might be in one drive and
yes,
some of the data is in another drive?
yep.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
So
guess
that's that.
same solution. It's like IBM using the same thing. They have a multiple hard drive and then they run it like that.
Yeah. Uh, Now imagine, so one thing it's being allowed is because it's very stable. They haven't had too much problems with that. Even though it's running, it may be running on like Linux, KVM, or VMware. It has been pretty stable. At my place, we are running VMware, and it is very stable because VMware behind it, it's using the storage. which is a Dell technology storage, right? I forgot, what is that storage thing used to be? The big storage company? No, that's the hard drive, but the storage, Dell bought it. He used to call EMC. EMC. EMC, it used to be nothing but a storage company and is borrowed by Dell. So it is a part of Dell now. It's called Dell EMC. Oh, I don't know. They removed the EMC brand. Let me say, yeah. Oh, I think they acquired it and then they kept it for a few years before they removed the EMC brand from there. It used to be monitored as a service. Okay, so it used to be like this here. I mean, this looks like a data center, but this is what the storage is like. A huge, huge array of disks spinning all day long. But by the way, this thing is maintained by another admin here. You don't have to worry about that. If the disk is not available, you just tell them, I need some disk space. Usually, a lot of people is involved when the disk issue is happening. If it's already not available, you have to open a change and stuff and do those things. So that is happening there. Now, what we got is we got a problem here. We have a problem. This disk is corrupt. So what we have here is we have SDF is a corrupted disk here. We need to, the monitoring team is showing that it is being shown by monitoring team that this disk is bad and we need to move the data out of here. And they say, okay, go ahead and use this disk here. Okay, so move the logical volume. So what we're gonna do is, what we have to do is we have to do PV create first and do a dev/sdb and make sure the size of the new disk is similar or bigger than the existing disk, preferably bigger. You see here, this is 8 GB and this is 6 GB. The move is going to be pretty good. So we do PV create here, SDB. Move from dev/sdf to dev/sdb. The disk size need to be same or it's just a common sense, right? If you're fitting something, a box inside another box, it has to be either bigger or same size. Okay, that's what it is. So now a new command, pv move dev/sdf to dev/sdb. Now remember, we're not doing anything like PV create, VG create, adding it to the part and stuff. We're not doing that because that part is gonna be done by the logical volume manager. No, SD. It is SDB. Oh, I do need
Do
to.
we have to put it in the volume group?
Yeah, I do need to put in a volume group. So what I need to do is, so this is not done quite often. You could tell even I'm having trouble. So you do VG extend ZMPT1 and then do dev/sdb. Okay. Now let's run that command. So it's gonna give you the update. It's done 33%.
Mrs. Zafar, does it have to be in order?
Yeah.
So you have to
First
put
is the
the
source. Yeah, source and a destination. Yeah.
okay.
It's just like copying too. Copying file.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's doing in the background.
Okay.
Okay, now let's do LSBLK. Let me copy this part here. So what we're moving is we're moving this to this. Okay. Now you see, okay, now look at SDF. It looks like it's an orphan. Yeah, and then SDB got all the volume and stuff, everything in there. Oh, I forgot to put, I should have put in, some data in there before I moved it. But anyway, the data, when the move is successful, that means data is successful too.
Can we move it back? Can we put some data in there now, move it back?
Yeah, we could do that. Um,
Or because like if we add data to that, will it affect how the like uh device or how the drive accepts um the mount or like the folder?
no, that doesn't affect. But remember, I said earlier the destination disk need to be bigger in size.
Bigger, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because we cannot move back now because the present is 8 GB and the destination is
It's
6
6 GB.
GB.
Okay. Okay.
So what we
Gotcha.
could do is we could move it to G.
So you got to be careful when you like
Yeah.
moving things around because once it's done, it's final.
Once it's done, it's final. Yeah.
Yeah, like you
So
can't
the
reverse
next
it.
disk we need is either 8 GB or bigger.
Okay.
So we could add this in here and do that, but
But
you
then we
got
would
the
have to
idea.
do like we
Yeah.
would have to do like what is it? PV create and then extend and then
Mm-hmm.
okay, I got you now.
Okay, so here, okay, when I do VGS, it says 8 GB left. Why is it showing 8 GB left?
Because we added one of the drives.
Correct. So it's 6 GB over here and another 2 GB from here. So total 8 GB.
Mm.
So now what I'm gonna do is PVS. So I'm gonna remove the disk from this was the disk, right? I'm gonna remove SDF from the logical volume here, okay? Yeah, volume group. So what would be the command? This time the command is reduce. Volume group reduce, give the volume name and whatever you want to reduce to. Okay, removed SDF from volume group. Now there is orphan here. And then what you could do is you could remove it altogether. So now if you want to remove it, you do PV remove, physical volume remove. Okay, see, SDF is still says
Logical.
L2.
Uh-huh.
Now if I do PV remove, it won't even show in here, I think. Okay, if you do PVS, it's not there anymore. And if you do VGS, and it's only 2 GB left. Any questions?
Yeah, Mrs. Apart.
Yeah.
When we physically like when we do PV remove, is it you're physically removing the device from where?
Uh, we are physically removing a drive from the volume, um, logical volume, and then you're removing it from volume group, and then you are removing from physical group.
Okay.
And then if you then this can be used This can be detached from the system by other admins and then use it somewhere else. If it's corrupted, then they will just shred the disk.
Like basically like when they have like data center technicians or something like that.
Yeah, those are the physical ones who are doing it.
So
This is
they
the
would
part
go in.
you're done, and then you say like, okay, I'm done. You guys do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want, and then they'll physically remove it.
Okay.
Sir, got a question.
Mm.
If it's like, uh, if the USB is corrupted, you cannot read it. You understand my point, right? What it is, it's like if the disk is corrupted, how do you know how you are moving the data from that corrupted file when it's corrupted?
So there is a monitoring system like Dynatrace, Splunk, or something. There is another monitoring team who would be doing that. So they are the one because let's take it as a Linux admin, you should be able to do the job, but usually even in a smaller environment where like 100 or 200 servers are there are multiple teams working there. You won't be able to put do all those things by one person. Those are team setups. So what has evolved is it has just evolved that the Linux person is doing all these functions, the storage guys are doing these functions, and the monitoring and all that. So there is usually an architects who design how things are going to be set up, and when the monitoring comes up, it is going to alert you.
Okay, no. What my question was, it's like if there is, it's like a part of hard drive is corrupted, right? I'm not talking about the physical or whatever it is.
Yeah, part of the
The
hard drive when it's corrupted, even those are a little cluster is corrupted, it will detect. Most of the big corporation, yeah, if they have a physical drive getting corrupted, it will start warning. And most of the time, the disk just don't go down. And then there is a backup also, right? There is a backup. The entire machines are getting backed up every so often.
Oh, okay. So they are getting the data from the backup.
Yeah, in the worst case scenario, they restore it from the backup.
Hmm, got it.
And the backup is a totally different team. You don't have to worry about too much. Okay, so now, so I have showed you guys almost um, a lot of stuff. So now, You know what? Let's come back to that. Let's do LSBLK. So all of a sudden, let's to your question, Salman, the disk is failing, right? This is a very big disk is failing, and we need to move everything to this disk, SDH. So let's do that. Disk failure. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a disk duplicate. Okay, so what will happen is this is a doomsday scenario. Something is happening and we don't have time for volume group and stuff. We just have to do the disk duplicate. So how are we gonna do that? It's a simple command. It's called DD. DD stands for disk duplicate. IF equals input file. Okay. And then what is gonna be input file? dev/sd sdd. Okay, and OF is equal to output file equal to /dev/sdh. Okay, remember we are moving 16 GB to 24 GB here, and we're gonna duplicate that. So let's hit enter. Okay, so I'm not getting any errors. That means it's working. So it might take, I shouldn't have done this big. It's going from 16 GB to 20 GB. Oh,
Oh, oh.
Mm. Let me open another window and see what is happening in the background. Okay, so in the background, it has prepared H already. Okay, because we didn't run any commands for H, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it has done that part. And let's do PVS. Hmm. Should I don't know how much time we have, half hour.
Mrs. Zafar,
Hmm.
if we don't do um like the duplication, would it be possible if we could just go over what we went through in class? Like a
Yeah, let me just stop this here. Okay, so I killed the processor. I'll show you this to you when we are doing some troubleshooting, okay? Let's do. Okay. Okay, sorry, what was your question?
I was gonna say, like, is it possible if we could just go over like quickly like what we did so that way if like you weren't gonna do like the this duplication, like could we just do
Mhm.
like a quick like preview of what we taught today in class?
Um, So what we have done today so far?
Yeah, I guess I didn't know if we had enough time.
Um, yeah, so let me finish this topic here. So another 10 minutes, we should be able to do this. I'm thinking, let's do, is there a, there is no smaller disk, 8 GB, 4 GB. All right, let's do this. This duplicate will come back again. Let's like we are removing all the file systems and everything here. So what I'm going to do is delete all the VG and LV, LVM and VG. Okay. So now what we are going to do is we have a task to um, uh, so we need to remove all these things here. Normally this happens in decommissioning if the server is not being used anymore and they need to decommission it. But why do we really need to decommission it? Because the company has invested a lot of money and you have to remove this and it will be ready to build for next server. So what you're gonna do is you unmount first file system. So what you do is you type umount and then you do accounting, finance, recruiting, HR. Careful, don't unmount the other ones which are being used by the operating system. Okay, if you do DFF and H, all the disk we have is gone. Now what we're gonna do is you do VI ETCFS tab and then delete all this here. DD. Okay, so next is delete from ETCFS tab. Okay. Once that is done, so we have done like a VG reduce, PV reduce, right? But we have not done LV remove. So what we're gonna do is you do DFF and H. Oh, okay, that part is gone. So what we do is LV remove, and then you get this information here. And then you type accounting, or what you could do is you could put an asterisk there. When you put an asterisk, you're telling remove everything for ZMPT1. And it's gonna give you a warning, say yes.
Could you have done -Y
Yeah,
to have
not,
automatically?
yeah, not using device H. Cannot update volume group with duplicate PV device. Maybe we're gonna run into issue because we have canceled some of those stuff, right? Actually, it did that. Oh, it did only for accounting. And then we're gonna do finance. Oops. Finance, HR, and recruiting. It's not taking all of them at the same time. Yeah, you could do -Y there. It will take all of them together.
Okay.
Cannot update volume.
Yeah. What is happening is it's fine. It's giving you
You got shoes everywhere.
PV device. I think we messed it up a little bit because but let's see VGS and PVS. So PVS is giving some error. Device is corrected. With a duplicate PV. Physical. Okay, so before that, let me do LVS. So it's there and VGS is there, right? So let's do LV remove again. And then /dev. Oh, it did remove here. You see, when we do LSBLK, nothing is there. So what you do at this moment is you type part probe. PART PROBE. And what it does is, whatever it's not registering it, it registers with the kernel, with the operating system. Let's start running this commands here. So let me put this down, part probe. So LV remove is done. Let's do VG remove, see if it's going to remove that. Do you really want to remove ZMPT containing 4 logical volumes? Yes. All right, come on. Let me try running this again. Device size is PV, not using device DVH or PV. Okay. Okay, we gotta do something with SDD. Oh, we were trying to copy SDD to SDH, right? That is where the problem is. No physical volume found on SDH. Create a partition. So let me do. Okay, so let's run that command again. That command would have been VG remove ZMPT1. Yes. Okay. Okay, so if we didn't have cancel the DD command, we would have came here anyway. So I'm not showing you DD command in the thing here. So this, assuming this part has worked, so it has removed all this file system from there. Okay, now go ahead. See, if you do VGS, ZMPT is gone.
But it's still there.
I know what, I know because I didn't show you. Okay, go ahead and type, this is an old DOS command here. Type fdisk slash dev/sdh, everybody. /dev/sdh. And hit enter. And then what we need to do is we need to type C and hit enter. Not C. N as in Nancy and hit enter. Where it says Command M for help, type N as in Nancy and hit enter. And continue hitting enter like 3 or 4 times. Enter, 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 enter.
Says you want to remove the signature.
Yes. Capital Y. Okay, then do P as in Papa and hit enter. Okay. Down on the bottom says partition table entries are not in the disk order. Do you see the same thing as you see on my screen? When you type P and hit enter.
Yes.
Okay, do you see this?
I see only one line.
Okay. And then like this here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have only one too.
Okay. So go ahead and do D and hit enter.
Partition one.
All right. Now do W and hit enter. Okay, good. Now run the command VG remove ZMPT1. It will give you, do you want to remove all or whatever?
Yeah, remove.
Okay, now do VGS, all gone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now if you do DFF and H, it's all gone. So now you could say, okay, the server has been decommissioned now. You could give this out and you're done with this. Okay, so
All the drives are gone as well.
Yeah.
For FPA.
that's good. It should look just like mine, not excluding H.
Yeah.
All right, so now the server has been decommissioned. So next week, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create create a script for logical volume. We're gonna recreate those what we created, and then in one single shot, we're gonna do it in all 3 servers. You guys have 3 servers, right? So from one server, you're gonna do it in all 3. So all the trouble we learned, we're gonna do it in one server, is gonna do it on all other servers.
Excellent.
Okay, so I think we're gonna stop here, but you guys could drop. I'm gonna have a continued session with Austin. He has an interview coming up, and then what we could do is catch up next week. Do you guys have any questions? Use the